previous episodes you will have seen us finding and collecting this Renault 19 16-valve Chamade. It's obviously a very rare car now, borderline extinct. We purchased the car as a non-runner. So since the previous episode I've had the injectors professionally refurbished, topped up the engine oil and put everything back together again. I've also changed the fuel filter. The car also had a 1990s aftermarket immobiliser system on, which were a load of nonsense then and still are now, so that was simply and straightforwardly removed. Today we're going to see if the car wants to start. And everything has been reassembled under the bonnet again, except the air filter box, which will be fitted at a later date. As you can see, this car is a very, very original, very honest car. The engine bay, in my opinion, has never really been touched. I don't think it's ever had the gearbox off, I don't think it's ever had a new clutch. So I think it's a good, honest, unmolested example, which again is hard to find because, as you know, these went through the max power phase where they were bolt-on modified and all the other nonsense that went on throughout that decade, which we're all responsible and guilty of. It's also, as you can see, we've cleaned all the cobwebs and the engine bay's had a bit of a clean. It's not been detailed properly yet and cleaned properly, but it's just had a quick blow over to blow the cobwebs off. So without further ado, we're going to see if it'll start. As a few of you probably already know, this car has the early Renault immobiliser system where you have to lock and unlock the car in order to de-immobilise it. Again, inside here, the car seems very original. It's even got the original stereo cover and the original stereo, which I have already entered the code and got working, and that's working perfectly, which is great. So I can hear the fuel pump pumping, so that's good. And there we go. That looks beautifully. Obviously it needs a little bit of fine tuning and some work there, I think. We're going to give the car a valet and assess what work and what inevitable welding it's going to need. Initial inspection looks very good. Can't find any immediate welding that it's doing. Common spot on these cars is the rear arches. On this car they seem to be in immaculate condition, which is a rare find. The car's only done 74,000 miles. A full history. Having the injectors professionally cleaned does make a big difference. That means they are now flowing and functioning exactly as they were intended to. So let's get it over to the jet wash and start cleaning it. They're actually original off this car, original Renault. Sadly completely knackered and useless. Very excited with these seats. I think they're going to come out very, very good. Very difficult to find in this condition. Just to reiterate, we're not a detailing channel. I am no means a professional valeting expert or detailer. This is just DIY. And obviously we'll be skipping through a lot of this. You won't, so you won't see everything, but hopefully you'll see the finished product. When we do it properly inside, I think I'll remove all the seats so that I can really carpet clean the carpets and properly hoover everything. But this is just a preliminary tidy up. The car was taken off the road due to, you remember me earlier mentioning the 1990s immobiliser system. Well, that had gone out of sync and wasn't functioning anymore, and the car would no longer start. So the previous owner had took the injectors out, as you may have seen in episode 1, thinking they were the fault, but it was actually the 1990s nonsense immobiliser system, which literally took me 4 or 5 minutes to remove and put the wiring back to original. And straight away it wasn't immobilised anymore. Because the previous owner had already removed the injectors, that's why I decided to have them refurbished. It's good practice anyway on a car this old, and I'm sure it wouldn't have ran and started as easily as it did do if I hadn't, so that was why we did that. So I treated myself to this new Vax carpet cleaning machine, which, as you can see, it appears to be very, very effective. The carpet seems, that's coming out absolutely immaculate. So once the whole car's been done properly, the seat could do with a little bit more work, but generally it's going to come out very, very well. It was well worth the 100 quid or whatever I paid for this. Far more effective than just simply hoovering anyway. So I'll carry on. just found this ECU casing lid in the boot of the car. Presumably the previous owner was messing around with the ECU because he thought there was an immobiliser fault, which, as we know, there was an immobiliser fault, but it was the aftermarket one, not the original Renault one. Since I've reinstated all of the original Renault equipment, the immobiliser and the alarm is now working perfectly as it should. So I'm going to put this back on. Slide down here. Like so. And it has its own rubber strap. So, to do a quick evaluation, under the bonnet doesn't seem to need much more attention other than a good detailing. Timing belt, water pump, plugs, oil filter, fuel filter, air filter, engine oil, gearbox oil, coolant flush and fresh coolant, and I'll probably put a new header tank on it as well, because that's stained badly and they don't normally come back when they look like that. Clutch seems to work perfectly, so I'm not going to touch that. Just a general going over under there. One of the steering rack gates is split, so we'll change that. We'll probably put track rod ends on it and wishbones and brakes. The brakes are all stuck on the whole car, so over the next couple of episodes we'll be doing the brakes and ball joints and what have you. But there's no rust, there's no rot visible at all under here. Everywhere is very solid. Obviously we've got a bit of surface rust along here, but it is only surface, so that'll be very easy to just sand off and satin black paint. And there's a few black items under here, like this bracket, this strut brace, the airbox holder, the fan case. I'm going to take all these bits off. I want to get all those powder coated satin black so everything looks good again. Probably take this off and paint this. All this will get cleaned and detailed. So yeah, that's what's coming up in the next few videos. In the next video we'll also get it up on the ramp and have a look underneath. Off a quick inspection today, I've had my hands underneath. One side seems absolutely immaculate and very good. The other side seems a bit scabby. So there might be some welding just on one side. But so far so good.